Yes, so I have watched the FNAF movie with a group of my friends recently, and what did I think about it? I liked it. And since I'm busy with other stuff and can't work on any big projects right now, let's just have a small discussion on the FNAF movie. But before we do that, I am just going to say it up front. I will be discussing spoilers from this point onward, so if you have yet to watch the movie, then yeah, go do that. But with that aside, let's discuss my thoughts and opinions on the FNAF movie. So I really, and I mean really, liked the movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. However, that does not mean it is perfect in any way. I'd go so far to say it is a very much, almost completely flawed film. But first, let me just discuss the positives before we get into the negatives. I really like the first scene of the movie. The opening scene is great. It shows a night guard fighting for his life to get away from the threat in the building, that of course being an animatronic. It sets up a sense of horror and tension, and I think it's a great opening to the film, that then gets cut away as the night guard gets put in a Freddy suit. It's a great scene. I also really liked the characters Mike and Abby. They are some of the only characters that I don't hate. The animatronics themselves were awesome. They were very well translated from the games to live action in my opinion. The practical effects and all that are cool as well, as usual for a Blumhouse film. Matthew Lillard, I enjoyed for the very little screen time he had. He was fun to watch. The Springlock scene I also really liked. I think that scene was really well done. Also, all the Easter eggs and cameos were cool to see as well. I was just in the theater pointing them out with my friend and I was able to catch on to quite a bit of them. Like the Dream Theory book in the beginning of the movie, the dog animatronic, the Midnight Motorist shirt, and even the Ghostface knife wipe that Afton does. It's so cool. The cameos, again, are fun to see with both Matt, Pat, and Corey. It was really cool. You even have the I always come back line, which to me is just so funny. The implications and the context behind this line here make no sense at all, and it really is only here for fan service, but Shaggy saying I always come back like that had me in tears for some reason. Now for the problems I have with the movie, I have quite a bit. First off, the horror aspect. It's not scary at all, nor does it try to be, it feels like. Now, yeah, I know this was never going to be scary to me anyways. It's Freddy Fazbear. He hasn't been scary in years. But outside of the beginning of the movie, it rarely feels like it's even trying to be horror. The animatronics, while being really cool, also don't really do much. Like, yeah, they killed a few goons, which were but aside from that, they weren't the biggest threat ever outside of a few scenes. The PG-13 rating, in my opinion, I think also really limited the film on what you can do. Now yeah, I know that this series is loved by mostly kids now, but it's a franchise based on child murder. This movie's a bit too tame when it has that subject matter present in it. The writing overall was not great. There just wasn't enough world building in my opinion. Like with the missing children, we just had a character just telling Mike about them instead of Mike just discovering it himself. There was also just some insanely unhinged dialogue, more specifically like the character Vanessa threatening to shoot Mike if he brought Abby back to the pizzeria because she got electrocuted by the animatronic, even though right before that they were all happy and having fun. There was this plot point with Mike and Abby's aunt trying to take custody of Abby to get money from the government, or something, despite looking like she is very well off, much better off than Mike is, however. She even hires goons to try and ruin his life to get custody of Abby, even considering the idea of just straight up killing him. They say this in the middle of a diner as Matt Pat walks up to them. I'm not even criticizing for the movie for honestly. If anything, it makes it 10 times funnier. They're just discussing how to murder someone. And then Matt Pat just walks in. But that's just a theory. There was also this scene toward the middle of the movie where Abby, Mike, and Vanessa and animatronics built a fort in the pizzeria and stuff. And it was a fun and cute scene. I liked it a little. But it really threw off the tone and pacing entirely. And then they just immediately go back to being murder robots, which to me just didn't make a whole lot of sense. There's also this part where the animatronics are controlled by a drawing on the wall. And when the pictures change, they just kill Afton. Five Nights at Freddy's. Speaking about Afton again, he was barely in the movie, which is sad in my opinion. I wish he would have gotten at least a little bit more screen time, just to build up more of like the fact that he is like the antagonist, but oh well. And my final and biggest, and really the only issue I actually think hurts the film the most, besides the writing, is this film is made only for the fans. As an old FNAF fan myself, I loved it despite its glaring flaws. It has plenty. But if you have a non-FNAF fan watch it, chances are they aren't going to like it. Blumhouse made this film with the fans in mind and only for the fans, which I'm fine with that. I prefer that studios would make adaptations with the fans in mind. However, I do believe that they should still also make sure that the film is good enough for those that may not be fans as well. That is a pretty tough challenge, however, I am aware, but honestly, as long as it wasn't either of the Doom movies, then it's good, which it's 1000% better than those atrocities. Overall though, I really enjoyed my time with the FNAF movie. Is it perfect? Oh, definitely not. Is it good? I plead the fifth. Even despite its flaws, I've already done a rewatch because it's just a fun experience in my opinion. I really enjoyed the movie a lot. But what did you think about the movie? Let me know in the comments or something. Like the video because it is just a polite thing to do. Subscribe if you're new because no, I don't do this stuff and probably will never do it again. And if you enjoyed the video, good. Now goodbye.